Hello, my friends. This little video is all about how to use essential oils. Now, this might seem a little bit obvious, but it's almost like the how and why aspect, because for those of us that use essential oils, it's always a little bit about, okay, yes, we put oils around us, on us, and in us, i.e. aromatic, topical, and ingestion. However, we don't often talk about why or when we might use some of these different methods. And the key thing is that each of the methods means that the essential oils activate different receptors in our body. So a great example is with our nervous system, right? We want to take our nervous system from one into the other. So sometimes we might want to take our nervous system from fight or flight into rest and digest, or the other way around, because sometimes we probably need to actually get some more stimulation. So we want to actually flick a switch, and we can use essential oils to do that. And so there are different transmitters around the body, and we can use the oils to shift our states. Now, diffusing is pathway number one. So this is our olfactory system. So when we inhale an oil, so we put a drop on the palm of our hand, and let me grab, I'm reaching over, now I'm back. So this is frankincense, guys. I'm going to just pop a drop on the palm of my hand, rub them together, inhale. That's what we call a tent diffuser. Now, what this does is those volatile molecules have hit the olfactory nerve, have been picked up by receptors and triggered the limbic system. This takes seconds. So we can impact our mood, our stress levels, things like heart rate, our hormones in the matter of seconds. And so we're going to use this method. So diffusion is best when we want to create a fast emotional shift or create an energized space. Now, the second pathway is topical. So this is where we would apply it to our skin, potentially using a carrier oil. Now, this is going to be affecting our nervous system predominantly through our circulatory system, because the oils are lipophilic. So this means that they penetrate, oil and oil go together. They're fat soluble, they go through the membrane, they go through the skin. So we get the oils to penetrate the skin and enter the capillaries and also the lymphatic system, but more so the capillaries. And we're going to think penetrating organs, tissues, as well as the central nervous system, because within our capillaries, within our muscle tissue, again, we have a whole other set of receptors that will trigger signals in the brain. So these are what we talk about interacting with peripheral nerves. So we're going to use topical application when we want some longer lasting support, when we have some physical tension. A great example of this is applying balance to the soles of our feet before we have a crazy busy day ahead of us, or applying adaptive to our pulse points. Okay, pathway 3 is internal. So this is where we take advantage of the gut-brain axis. So we get the oils to enter the bloodstream and the lymphatic system via the digestive system. So we want to think here connections to things like serotonin in the gut, activating the vagus nerve, and all of those other things, which I won't go into too much detail, but we often think of this in terms of we pop frankincense or copaiba under the tongue or on the roof of the mouth, or we might use a soft gel, such as the copaiba soft gel, the frankincense capsules, or even the adaptive capsules. It's even the way that things like the lavender peace soft gels will work in terms of promoting calm. Okay, so we really want to use this pathway, which is the internal pathway, when we have persistent stress. So we want to think about building resilience over time. So you can see that there's almost like a layering effect of the ways in which we use the oils and why. So when we use all three pathways together, we do get that layering effect. So we end up triggering chemoreceptors in different parts of the body all at the same time, which is pretty cool. So for example, we could diffuse an oil, trigger the olfactory system. We could apply it to the skin. We could get the gut-brain axis happening. We could be triggering the vagus nerve. And then at the same time, we are activating receptors in the peripheral nervous system. So we often don't talk about why we can use all three methods, or we could pick one method over the other. But ultimately, whether we choose diffusion, topical application, or ingestion of the oils, we are going to have a physiological response within the body, but they're just through a slightly different method. A great example is peppermint. So when we breathe that in and hit the olfactory system, this is all about bang, we've got awareness, alertness, etc. However, if we were to ingest it, this is a really soothing effect on our digestive system, just as an example. So the same oil can have a different impact on the body depending on how we use it. And that is predominantly why I wanted to do this video, right? Because yes, we know we can use the oils in different ways, but we kind of need to know, like, why are each of the methods super important? All right, have a good one, legends.